This is Jacqueline with Sound Body Wisdom. Welcome. So today I wanted to share about a metaphor for connection. And that metaphor is the metaphor of bridges. So when I was in my somatics training years ago, during a review with one of my professors that I admired quite a bit, they said something to me that surprised me. They said, "You're a bridge builder." And, at the time I was perplexed, because this teacher was such an academic, and their particular field of work was really analyzing body articulation and mechanics. And here they were using a metaphor in their evaluation of me. And there was, of course, other specificity of terms as well in the evaluation, but they ended with this metaphor, and they meant it, truly as a way of seeing me, like big picture me. So what at first seemed odd really became a deeper vision of understanding, of the underlying themes or the skills in my life work, which is about building bridges. And, I am amazed that all these years later, how the clarity of this emerges more and more. And honestly, bridges are cool. Think about it. They create possibility, they create openings, connection. So the most common understanding of bridges are the physical ones, the ones we might walk, ride, or drive over. But there's also the metaphor of bridges, and this is more of an energetic structure. In terms of our personal growth and in creating more supportive tools for ourselves, deepening our understanding of how to use the metaphor of bridges in our internal landscape, it can be helpful. And as I see this metaphor persist over the years, I've come to realize how simple and effective it can be. And it makes sense, because really bridges, they're relatable for us. And before you potentially maybe dismiss, how this thing called a metaphor can even be a helpful tool, or if you ever wondered why we use the tools of metaphor or personification, it's an interesting phenomena that happens in our unconscious realms. Our experiences and biology are a composite of so many factors, and we really do well with packaging all these factors into cohesive ideas. So metaphors and personification, they can put abstract ideas, that might get expressed through, emotions, memories, or thoughts. They can put these abstract ideas into more cohesive and relatable terms. They also allow information to support us by helping us to identify with it. They can make complex ideas, emotions, or sensations more accessible. So metaphors, they hold our attention, they captivate our imagination. They create an opening for us to explore. So when trying to access ways of connection within our internal landscape and using bridges, this is speaking to the unconscious through its natural language, which is metaphors and symbols. This helps us work with our unconscious for greater possibility, greater access. And bridges, they're relatable because they're often all around us, and most people have used them and can understand them, their function. They're simple in nature, and in some instances, they're a lifeline, as they can really bridge the gaps between geographies, resources, communities. Which brings us to the next reason that bridges as a metaphor is really potent, because their purpose is to connect. They're all about connection. And, each of us feeling more connected within ourselves and to others is really essential in this life. More connection within our own selves, our deeper and unconscious or even untapped resources. Parts of us that are there, but perhaps we don't realize it. More connection between past, present, and future parts of ourselves, which brings with it more connection between the thoughts, emotions associated with our different parts, and the way these all influence our mind and body, our biology, our whole of who we really are. Bridges offer more connection between all the various parts that have been created, shaped throughout our lives, and exist within us, even as we sit together right now. So, using the metaphor of bridges can help us connect all the many aspects of who we are so that we have better communication between the different parts of ourselves, as well as creating a more cohesive network of self, of information and access. Bridges can connect our different parts and help us to understand what informs our reactions, our biases, our perceptions, our emotions, health, habits, so much more. Because all of these can be connected to or associated with different parts of us. This is important because some of these parts can sometimes get stuck as part of old habits or routines, and they might be in need of some support to change or just get an update. So a bridge between different parts of ourselves, it can help us get unstuck. It can open a path with new scenery, new information. The bridge can connect our inner landscape in ways that offers us new access and choices, possibility. When we develop our awareness of the different parts within us and consciously decide to bridge them, create more connection, we can learn more about what's happening behind the scenes or below the surface, below our just everyday awareness. Bridging different parts of ourselves can allow us to really see and get to know those parts, acknowledge and interact with them. Creating this connection, it opens up more possibility. Because, instead of habits and thoughts and emotions and parts maybe working separately and at times maybe even covertly behind the scenes, we start to develop a thread of communication, a cohesion that can help all these aspects of us work together. That collaboration offers us more strength and versatility, more energy and clarity, really more choice in our lives. When any of our different parts are working with inaccurate information or information that hasn't been updated because there hasn't been recent or maybe direct communication with those parts, or when parts of us are actually working in opposition to other parts. Now, this is counterproductive and maybe even counterintuitive. And all of it can end up draining us. So a simple example might be, okay, so imagine you're completing a project or a task of some kind, and in the present moment, you feel really good about it. But then on an unconscious level, there's this other part of you that exists that is maybe stuck in a more negative loop that, let's say, maybe you're not good enough. And then this part steps in and sort of hijacks the present moment experience of feeling excited, good, content. So the old loops from this earlier part can be draining and also be in opposition to the present moment authentic experience you were having when you were feeling joy, success, satisfaction. And so the key here is to notice when something like this happens. We use our awareness to see when a thought or emotion, when they're not a direct creation of what is happening in the present moment. And we allow ourselves to be curious and use the metaphor of a bridge to start in a very basic way to connect a thought or an emotion, like this part of us. Connect it together and then bring kindness to learn more about this part of us that is generating this thought or emotion. And when we do this, we can begin to interrupt this hijacking and understand more about parts that are working behind the scenes, parts that could be draining us or maybe even derailing us a little bit. So it begins with awareness. And then you need your curiosity and kindness to create these connections so all your parts can join the greater whole that's you, and instead of perhaps working in ways that doesn't serve the whole, maybe ways that are counter to your overall well-being. Generally these parts, they need to be seen. They need to be brought in. This way they can learn and grow and connect to the overall well-being that is you. Okay, so let's practice a little bit with a little recap and then a guided meditation. So remember, our thoughts and feelings are often connected to different parts of ourselves. And these parts of us might have come into being anytime, really, early in life or more recently. Some can be persistent and others maybe only occasional. All the parts of us they're diverse and often influenced by different experiences. And that's why it can be helpful to develop a relationship or connection with our different parts. These parts that are expressing themselves through the different thoughts and feelings we have. Visualizing a bridge, a connection between ourselves and our feelings or thoughts, this helps us develop more cohesion, more resource, and insight into ourselves. It helps us to integrate as opposed to any tension or conflict that might drain us. Okay, so now with this framework, I'm just going to ask you to find a comfortable position to relax into for a few minutes. If you're driving or doing another activity, I would just suggest you pause, or you can save this exercise for another time. If you're able, please go ahead and just close your eyes and let yourself take a few deep breaths and just settle into your body wherever you are. Let each inhale and exhale just bring more ease to your body and your mind. Feel your presence in this moment. And now I want to ask you to bring to mind a thought or an emotion. Any thought or emotion that was just a little gently challenging for you. Something that feels manageable for you to consider in this moment. Just take a moment, see what comes to mind. See if you can really imagine this thought or this emotion. And just notice if, in imagining it, you see it someplace inside of you, or do you picture it perhaps outside of yourself? Allow yourself to just notice what you notice and become more curious about it. Just take your time and be present with it. Nothing to do. Now, ask yourself if you feel open to connecting with it. And if yes, I want you to continue to notice what you notice with this possibility of connecting to this part. And if you're not open to that, you can choose to look for perhaps another thought or emotion to be with, or you can simply let this visualization go and rest with your breath. So if you feel you would like to continue, let your kindness and curiosity guide you to notice the qualities of this part that you're connecting to. How does it feel in your body? Or if it's outside your body, what qualities do you notice? Does the part feel strong? Does it have a strong presence, or does it come and go? Allow yourself to witness all the many qualities and the energy that comes with connecting to this part, this thought or emotion. And take a few more breaths, just noticing what you notice with it. Now, let that part know you'll be right back with it, and ask if it will please just stick around, because now we're going to visualize another area within us. So now I want you to imagine your heart center, or this space in your heart that is it's like mission control for your source of wisdom. It's a place in you that is clear and present. It's beyond bias, beyond challenges. It's the part of you that exists in the present moment, and it's not encumbered by past or future. It's just wisdom. It exists beyond all of our conditioning. So allow yourself to imagine this space, or if you already have a relationship with this, just visualize it and breathe into your connection with it. So once you feel the presence of that heart center wisdom space, now I want you to simultaneously imagine your part, the one we started with in the visualization. Go ahead and picture both your heart wisdom space and this part, and notice what you notice. Where are they in relation to one another? How do they show up? What sensations do you notice in your body, in your mind? Now, the next invitation is to create a bridge between these two. So imagine the energetic presence of a bridge to allow connection between this part of you and this amazing resource hub of your heart wisdom center. So where does the bridge begin? How do you know it's there? What do you notice? How do you sense the bridge between them? Just allow your breath to help strengthen the connection and really establish this bridge. Use your imagination and invite your parts to access the resources that might be found in the wisdom space. Just free and easy access. And notice what you notice. How does your part feel to be perhaps less isolated and more connected to all this resource, all this support, this new energy? Feel into your body as a whole. What feels the same and what feels different? Again, just notice what you notice. And take a few more breaths with this connection, this bridging between the two. Just allowing whatever wants to show up and be present. And before you shift out of the visualization, see if there's anything else to be learned or shared. And know that they're always there for you to initiate a connection to them or feel into the bridge that you started building, or to build bridges between any of your parts and your wisdom space. When you're ready, you can slowly, gently open your eyes and just notice how you feel. Notice your body, thoughts, your energies. Just notice what you notice. Offering bridges for our inner landscape, it helps us to start connecting dots, sharing information, creating a greater resource within ourselves. A resource that comes from all the lived experiences of our lives, the joys, the sorrows, the hurts, the mundane moments, because all of this is within us. And the bridges are what can offer all these different parts of us the possibility to sit together at the same table, to connect us in a way that is more supportive of each of the parts, to share, to create more energy, well-being, and resource for us as a whole. We bring our skills of awareness, kindness, and curiosity to our parts in the work of bridge building. Awareness to know we need to build a bridge. Curiosity to explore the relationship and connection created by the bridge. And kindness to support what you discover. Kindness to let go of judgment or criticism. It really is amazing what we learn about ourselves and what's influencing us below the surface when we intentionally connect and build bridges for communication. The power of metaphor and visualization, they're there for us anytime. So whatever you discover today, it can be built upon the next time you choose to explore your inner landscape. And as you practice, you just continue to grow your skills. And in my opinion, that is such an incredible gift to give ourselves. So thanks again for spending this time with me. If you want to learn more about working with your parts, you can dive more deeply into this with my book, which is available on my website. There's an entire section on working with our parts. And you can learn all sorts of things about how you can work with me personally on that same website, which is soundbodywisdom.com. Or if you'd like to make a donation for these podcasts and the work I do, you can reach out and contact me there as well. So thanks so much, and I look forward to next time. This has been Jacqueline with Sound Body Wisdom. Take care.